What's going on, guys? Nate the Great coming at you. Hope you're having an incredible day, evening, morning, afternoon. Whenever you're viewing this, I just wanted to come on here and do a video. Shout out to my guy Matthew Flores for challenging me, okay, not just to get a whiteboard, right, white paper, to get an easel, but challenging me to do a video on teaching you guys exactly how I've been able to get some of these high quality guests on my podcast called the Roots of Success podcast. Again, if you're unaware of my podcast, it's on Apple, SoundCloud, also on YouTube and Facebook, so check it out. But anyways, I wanted to do a video today and really just show you guys how I started, what got me into it, and some of the things that held me back from starting, where if I would have started earlier and I wouldn't have had these things mental wise, I would have totally got this way a long time ago, to say the least. But anyways, I don't want to waste too much time. I want to get right into it, right? So as you can see, the title, Quit Being Perfect. Yes, you heard me, quit being perfect. You know, we live in a world where there's a lot of noise. We live in a world where there's a lot of people. And us as human beings, we're always going to be our worst critic, right? Sometimes looking in the mirror, and this is a whole nother topic, but it can be the worst critic for ourselves because we might be insecure about ourselves. We might not feel we're confident enough. We criticize ourselves so much. Long story short, I wanted to do a podcast, right? That's something I've wanted to do for the past, I'd say 3 years. I've always known at a young age I was really great at connecting with people, talking to them one-on-one on a personal basis. More so, compared to a group setting. I was never a big fan of a group setting. I always wanted to do more so one-on-one interviews, right? So I thought of how I should do it. So first, there needs to be a desire, right? So my desire was to have my own podcast. I've seen that there have been other successful entrepreneurs, speakers, authors that have been throwing down on podcasts, and they've been absolutely crushing it. And it was great for, of course, networking and things like that. So first thing was first, I had a desire to do a podcast, right? Let's come over here. Vision. This is super crucial. It's one thing to desire something. It's another thing to have a vision for what it is that you want to do. In my case, I had a vision that I wanted to interview some high caliber individuals, right? And for those of you who have stayed tuned to my podcast last week, I literally interviewed Tony Robbins' son, Jarek Robbins. Absolutely incredible interview. Highly recommend you check it out. And then the week before that, I interviewed South African world champion boxer Chris Van Heerden. Let me tell you something. Those two podcasts alone, those two episodes were unbelievable, right? Of course, I've done a ton of more episodes as well beforehand, right, that were absolutely incredible. So I highly recommend you check them out with real estate agents, entrepreneurs, motivational speakers, you name it, business owners, business-minded people. So that's the thing. I had a vision. My vision was, about a year ago, I saw Tony Robbins' son, Jarek Robbins. I'll be honest, I didn't know Tony had a son. I did not know he had a son. I saw him and I said, man, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to find a way to get connected with him somehow. But most importantly, have him on my podcast. But at the time, I didn't have a podcast. I was like, have him on a podcast whenever the time is right. You know what I mean? So fast forward to now, it happened, right? I manifested that. I didn't know how I was going to do it, okay? This is a manifestation. That's a whole other video I'll do as well. But I didn't know how I was going to do it. But I knew in my mind, with me actually thinking about it, right? I knew exactly by me manifesting it, it was going to happen, right? So again, you need to have a desire. You need to have a clear vision for what it is that you want to do, right? I don't want you to just look at a vision as, okay, my dream is to interview somebody. My dream is to become a millionaire. No. I want you to envision it and, of course, have a blueprint that goes to it. So, for example, if you want to be a millionaire, how much money do you need to make in 12 months, 6 months, 3 months, 1 month? 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 1 week, right? 60 seconds. Reverse engineer. Because if you really want to make an impact, if you really want to be one of the top dogs in your industry, you have to literally have your vision clear. And again, that sort of moves into the plan, right? You have a vision and then the plan, right? So again, the plan is literally checklisting these things off, right? Every single morning I wake up, I have a plan for my day. So the night before, I literally strategize what it is that I'm going to do. But if we're talking in the podcast sake, I plan out who it is that I'm going to interview. I plan out the certain topics. I will be honest with you, I don't necessarily plan and have much structure when it comes to actually rolling with a podcast. Personally, in my opinion, I do really well when it's more so off the noggin, meaning off the top of the head. And of course, sticking with a little bit of a topic does help as well. And I feel it's more genuine, the passion comes out. So again, you need to have a plan for what it is that you're going to do. This is honestly one of the biggest reasons most businesses fail, most startups fail, and most people give up to wanting to be an entrepreneur or wanting to be successful in business, but then they settle for less, right? They settle to go back to a job. And again, if you have a job, that's amazing, right? That's what you want to do. But I'm saying for the people that they don't believe that being an entrepreneur works because they gave up too early, because they didn't have a plan in mind. And maybe you don't know what the plan is. Maybe you need to find a mentor. Maybe you need to find a coach. That's what I did when I was 17 years old, straight up, right? So desire, you need a desire. You need a vision. You need a plan. All right, and I'm going to circle this last one. Execute. All right, execute. You need to execute on what it is that you say you're going to do. So let's go back a year. I wanted to do a podcast, but I'm a perfectionist. So with me being a perfectionist, it held me back from not actually going forward to doing my podcast sooner compared to when I did do it. I started it earlier this year, and I could have did it literally over a year ago. But I kind of procrastinated, and I used that perfectionism as basically an excuse for not starting. I don't have the best webcam. I don't even have a professional mic, like one of those Yeti mics. You know, I don't have the lighting. Of course I do now, right? Because I made it happen. I executed, right? I didn't have all these things. I kept making the excuses. Nate, you don't have this, you don't have that, you don't have this resource, right? You don't even know how to put it on Apple. How do you expect to put it on Apple? You know? And then guess what? I executed. I said, you know what? I'm done. I just need to start, right? I'm not saying I got to start with interviewing Tony's son, Jared Robbins, or one of the world champion boxers of the world. I just needed to start. So I started, I executed. I came up with a name, right? The Roots of Success podcast. I came up with the cover art, the cover photo. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't the best. I just recently changed it here, right? But I came up with a cover photo because you got to have a cover photo. I came up with a little description. I looked at how other people are doing podcasts, and I sort of mirrored what it is that they're doing and basically went off of that. And then again, the topics, it's all from here, baby, right? The interviews, all from here. Of course, I need to plan out, like, who am I going to interview? But most importantly, I needed to execute. I needed to execute on what it is that I said I was going to do. I could have started this 2 years ago, but I didn't. Why? Because I procrastinated, dude. I procrastinated. I said I am too perfect not to do this. Meaning, I don't have the proper resources to start. You look at Apple, you look at how they start, you look at Amazon, right? They started in a garage. I mean, they could have easily said, now we need to actually be in a corporate building for us to start, right? We need to actually have, pictures on the walls, everything like that. Like, no, it doesn't have to be perfect. That's not how they started. So for those of you, and again, I appreciate you guys that have watched up to this point. For those of you who may be struggling on what it is that you're doing or staying consistent, I tell people all the time, people ask, Nate, how you doing? I'm doing consistent. Doing consistent? Yeah, I'm doing consistent. I tell them that. They're just like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm doing consistent. Like, I'm literally nonstop every single day, 24/7. Like, I'm going in 24/7, all in, right? And people, they just don't know how to react to that. But I followed these plans, had a desire, had a vision, had a plan, and I executed. So every single day, I stay consistent with what it is that I'm doing, because It doesn't matter what you're going through in life, just as long as you stay consistent and have faith with what it is that you're doing. I'm a prime example of that. I mean, I'm interviewing some of the top people in their industry. Some of the names that I have on this list to interview, oh my gosh. Some of you guys might think I'm crazy. Like straight up. But I know with the vision in mind and with me manifesting it and me following all these plans, but not just me, but with what it is that you're doing in your life, with you following all these plans and you quit being perfect, great things are going to come. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a comment below if so. All right, give me a like. I definitely love interacting with you guys. Hope this definitely leaves an impact on with what it is that you're going through in your life, whether it's a business, whether it's a relationship, whether it's marriage, right? Friendship, whatever it is. I hope this leaves a huge impact on you. And as always, guys, I appreciate you guys. Let me know if you want, certain topics you want me to, talk and sort of preach about and write it out. I'd definitely be more than willing to do so. So anyways, guys, that's all for now. Nate the Great out.